How does a billionaire sheikh manage to secretly divorce his supermodel wife, marry another, and evade a massive divorce suit? The answer lies hidden in the offshore. In the world of high stakes, high finance, and high fashion, few figures loom as large as our billionaire sheikh, a man with a Midas touch, transforming everything he lays his hands on into gold. Married to a supermodel wife, a woman whose beauty and grace graced the covers of every major fashion magazine. Together, they were the epitome of a power couple, living a life most people could only dream of. But beneath the glittering surface, trouble was brewing. A plot twist no one saw coming, a secret divorce. The sheikh, it seems, had found another. A new love, a new marriage, and a divorce that was kept under wraps, far from the prying eyes of the public. But how could such a high-profile figure manage a secret divorce, you ask? The answer, my friends, is as complex as it is intriguing. It involves a little understood concept known as the offshore, a place where money and secrets can be hidden away from the scrutiny of the world. And then, there's the matter of diplomatic immunity, a cloak that can shield its wearer from legal repercussions. A sheikh, after all, is not just a billionaire but also a figure of political significance, and with political power comes certain privileges, diplomatic immunity being one of them. So what happens when you combine the secrecy of an offshore with the protection of diplomatic immunity? You get a sheikh who managed to sidestep a divorce suit that could have cost him millions. But this isn't just a tale of a billionaire and his divorce, it's a window into a world of power, privilege, and secrecy, where the rules that apply to us mere mortals can be bent, twisted, and often completely disregarded. So we begin our journey down the rabbit hole in search of how the sheikh dodged a bullet worth millions. Offshore, a term often associated with tax evasion, has a darker side. It's also a playground for the ultra-rich to bend legalities to their will. And that's precisely what our protagonist, the billionaire sheikh, did. Now let's drill down on this concept of offshore. The term refers to a location outside one's national boundaries. It's often synonymous with tax havens or countries that provide financial secrecy laws, enabling individuals or corporations to minimize their tax liabilities. But for the ultra-wealthy, offshore jurisdictions can serve a broader purpose. They can act as a legal shield, a fortress of sorts, protecting one's assets or activities from the prying eyes of the law. In the world of the ultra-rich, the offshore strategy is like a game of hide-and-seek with high stakes. The players hide their assets or activities, and the law enforcement agencies of various nations become the seekers. It's a complex game to say the least, made possible by a web of offshore corporations, trusts, and foundations, all legally distinct but interconnected in ways that make it difficult to trace the real owners or beneficiaries. And this is where our sheikh enters the picture. He utilized this strategy to its fullest. By moving his divorce proceedings to an offshore jurisdiction, he was able to operate under a different set of rules, effectively sidestepping the hefty alimony that would have been a certainty had the divorce been processed in his home country. It was a legal maneuver that required significant resources and an intimate understanding of international law. But for a billionaire sheikh, it was all in a day's work. But the sheikh's masterstroke was not in using the offshore. It was in something far more elusive: diplomatic immunity. Diplomatic immunity, a privilege bestowed to diplomats, is often misunderstood. For the sheikh, it was his golden ticket. Diplomatic immunity is not a free pass to break laws without repercussions, as many tend to believe. It's a principle of international law that allows diplomats and their families to perform their duties without fear of coercion or harassment by the host country. It's a crucial aspect of diplomacy, fostering mutual respect and understanding between nations. However, like any powerful tool, diplomatic immunity can be misused. This misuse is not widespread, but when it occurs, it can lead to situations that challenge our understanding of justice. The case of our billionaire sheikh is a perfect example of this. The sheikh, savvy and aware of the privileges afforded to him as a diplomat, exploited this immunity to his advantage. It wasn't a spur-of-the-moment decision but a meticulously planned strategy. He understood that his status as a diplomat could shield him from certain legal proceedings, including those related to his divorce. His position offered him an out, a loophole that could potentially save him millions of dollars. It's important to note that this was not a blatant disregard for the law, but a calculated maneuver within the confines of international law. He was merely playing the game, and he played it well. The sheikh's use of diplomatic immunity paints a picture of a man who understood the system and used it to his advantage, It's a reminder that the world of diplomacy and international relations is not just about politics and peace treaties, it's also a world of strategy and cunning where the stakes are high and the rules can be bent but never broken. It's easy to judge the sheikh, to label him as a villain for exploiting a system designed to protect diplomats. But it's also important to remember that he was operating within a set of rules that he didn't create but merely exploited. With the offshore and diplomatic immunity in his arsenal, the sheikh was all set to execute his plan. All pieces were in place. It was time for the sheikh to make his move. The billionaire sheikh, with his meticulously devised plan, was ready to execute his grand strategy. The first step was the secret divorce, a move as clandestine as it was cunning. Unbeknownst to his supermodel wife, he used the laws of his homeland to his advantage, dissolving their marriage without her knowledge or consent. Then came the second step in his grand plan: a new marriage. With the ink on his secret divorce papers barely dry, the sheikh wedded another woman. This was not just a personal decision, but a strategic move in his quest to avoid the financial fallout of his previous marital dissolution. Next, the sheikh had to ensure that his carefully laid plans would not be toppled by international law. This is where his diplomatic immunity came into play. As a representative of his nation, he was protected from legal actions in foreign jurisdictions, a shield that would prove invaluable in his quest to sidestep the alimony. But it wasn't enough to simply have these protections in place. The sheikh also had to make sure they would hold up under scrutiny. He worked tirelessly behind the scenes, using his wealth and influence to ensure that his plans would not be thwarted. The sheikh's strategy was a high-stakes game of chess, with each move calculated for maximum effect. His secret divorce, new marriage, and the use of diplomatic immunity were not isolated actions, but interconnected pieces of a larger puzzle. Each step was carefully orchestrated, each move designed to bring him closer to his ultimate goal: avoiding a divorce suit worth millions. Yet despite the complexity of his plan, the sheikh executed it with precision and aplomb. He navigated the legal and diplomatic minefields with skill, using his wealth, influence, and diplomatic immunity as tools in his arsenal. And just like that, the sheikh had successfully sidestepped a divorce suit worth millions. The sheikh had won, but at what cost? Let's delve into the aftermath of this high-stakes strategy. The ripples of the sheikh's actions were far-reaching, with his ex-wife bearing the brunt of this fallout. Robbed of her rightful divorce settlement, she found herself cast aside, a casualty in a game of wealth and power. Not only was she stripped of financial security, but she was also deprived of the closure that comes with a fair settlement. Yet the sheikh faced no legal consequences for his actions. Diplomatic immunity, a shroud under which the sheikh operated, kept him safe from any potential backlash. This shield, intended to protect diplomats from unjust prosecution, was manipulated into a tool to dodge personal responsibilities. And so the sheikh slipped through the fingers of justice, untouched, unscathed, and unrepentantly wealthy. But his actions did not go unnoticed. Public opinion swung like a pendulum, once awed by his wealth, now appalled by his audacity. The media was abuzz with the story, serving as a glaring spotlight on his actions. The sheikh, once a figure of admiration, had now become a symbol of wealth's corruption, a testament to the power of money to distort morals and twist the law. Yet, despite the public outcry, the sheikh remained unfazed. His fortune intact and his reputation among his peers undamaged, he continued to live lavishly, unaffected by the storm he had triggered. This unsettling reality is a stark reminder of the inequality that persists in our society, where the ultra-rich operate under a different set of rules, seemingly immune to the consequences of their actions. In the end, we're left with a chilling reminder of the lengths the ultra-rich can go to protect their fortunes. This tale serves as a stark wake-up call, a reminder that wealth and power can manipulate even the most sacred of institutions, leaving the less fortunate to pick up the pieces.